So I think one of the things that I've noticed about Stellenbosch is that it's lacking like critical discussions, like discussions that aren't really spoken about. So there's this sort of layer that's around Stellenbosch regarding like conversations that are sort of there but never really spoken about. And I think this publication is going to start, addressing those issues that are sort of there but never spoken about. I also think that students are just tired of the current publications that are on campus. They're tired of the same rhetoric. They're tired of the same people, sharing their stories, and I think they're very interested in hearing what other people have to say and hearing other narratives. And I think this publication is going to do that. It's going to be a challenge because I know Stellenbosch is very possessive and competitive regarding like whose voices are heard. But I do think that now is the time for different voices to speak up and for people to sort of hear different opinions, opinions that they may not disagree, that they may not agree with. Because I think hearing the same stuff has gotten us nowhere. I think the reason why I want to join this publication is because I want to share the stories that have never been heard. I want to share the opinions and the perspectives that have never been consumed by the student population. And I also just want to be part of the future, I think.
I think Stellenbosch is one of those places where we're very disconnected, not only from South Africa and what's happening, but we're disconnected from the world. I think we care about lekker vibes and a good jaw. And while all of those things are great, I think it's almost impractical and illogical to be a professional at jawling and having fears and not knowing what's happening around you and being aware. And so I think why I joined was to sort of offload on the things that I've seen. I think I've had quite an interesting experience in Stellenbosch, and what I found and sort of what I want to bring to the table is looking at pop culture and how pop culture is a reflection of us as people, and it's a reflection of the times, and so that's a good way for us to start a conversation about many things that we just never talk about, but in a cool, fun way, get people involved. I don't think I would call myself a journalist so much as I'd call myself someone with an opinion, and I write in quite a brooding style. So I just ponder on us as people and write those emotions down.
So my highest values are kindness, empathy, equity, and I believe that empathy has given me access to navigating my own human experience, and in that relating to other people's human experiences as well. It's given me access to my intellectual evolution. It's given me access to just understanding the human condition on another level, and by that I'm able to practice my activism on another scale, on a more conscientious scale. So it's also given me access to the kinds of stories I want to write. I want to write things that are profound, things that inspire and other people's activism, things that increase people's opportunity to relate to other people, to relate to their spaces, to interrogate their spaces, to interrogate themselves. And I think that's what iLizwi is for me. It's given me the platform to curate that image I have in my head. I think it's a vehicle towards the dream of a progressive society, especially in a space like Stellenbosch, where a lot of the journalism or the media is just saturated by things that are stagnant, things that don't represent a larger ideal, and they are representative of only a small portion of what Stellenbosch is. So I also chose this building for purposes of symbolism. What does it mean for a working class black woman to be in the space, to own the space? A space that is historically not meant for an original structure of Stellenbosch. So part of my work with iLizwi, hopefully, is to encourage the marginalized to take charge, to own who they are, to own the space. Because a lot of the time you come here and you feel very displaced, especially when you're not used to an elevated sense of like economic prosperity and a type of people. So yeah, that's what I hope my work with iLizwi is going to be. I hope it introduces me to a part of myself that I felt has been constricted.
So I think for me the biggest gap in the student journalism space, or just the space where we engage in Stellenbosch, is this constructive interaction with like content and with material and with topics. I think anytime something is criticized, then it just becomes a big fight and people get angry, and oftentimes you don't engage further. And I'm really excited that iLizwi is going to focus on creating a space where people can engage, where people are allowed to disagree, where conversations are going to be heated and we're going to debate, but it's not going to be just everybody fighting. It's going to be constructive. You know, we're just going to be listening to what people have to say. And I'm also just really excited to work with the team. They're all people that, very different people, a lot of people that I have never like engaged with before, and they each have very cool skills, very cool things about them that I think will make this publication the thing that it needs to be. So I'm really excited to work with them, and most importantly I think I'm just excited to tell people's truths. I mean, yeah, a lot of what we read and what we hear is, I don't know, I just feel like it's not as authentic as I'd like it to be. So I'm hoping with iLizwi we'll be able to share people's truths.
I'm a very creative person that enjoys challenges that test my creativity, and I feel that iLizwi is a great platform to allow my creativity to flow without restrictions. What I think is missing from the Stellenbosch narrative is unity. Whether on campus or in residences, I've noticed that there's a lot of cliques, and that's okay, but we do still need some form of togetherness. And hopefully the blog can fill in that gap, where it can allow people to relate to one another through the articles and the issues that we address.
The reason why I joined was because I feel that a lot of people's stories aren't being told. So I'd like to just write about the narratives of people who are marginalized. Yeah, so I want to write about people whose narratives are not being told and stories are not being told on campus. And I feel like that's how we learn about each other, by reading up and getting to know what the real story is, because my plan is just to be as real as possible and tell the truth. And I think I'm not only going to write articles, but I might express myself in poetry sometimes. And also, like, I think I'm going to start out with writing about the color narrative and where they fit into the Stellenbosch narrative on campus and that sort of thing. And also about the queer community and especially trans people. I feel like we also need to become more educated about them and their lives, and just start like not conforming to societal ways and accepting people for what they are. And that's why I feel like writing about it and, you know, sharing the message and story and allowing people to just understand how other people's lives are. So also with this generation becoming so conscious and we being a woke generation, I think it's time to also for us to be more informed, and the only way we're going to do that is to, you know, read up and find out. That's why it's so important to, you know, emancipate yourself from mental slavery and free your mind. So the only way we're going to free our minds is if we start listening and understanding and reading more and not going after sensational things, you know, if you want to be a powerful generation. So also by us writing and telling the stories and narratives to other people, I think that's also one of the key ways to, you know, educate inform others that are willing to listen, of course.
So the reason why I'm working for this publication is because there aren't enough counter-narratives to the existing publications on campus as it is. And I really would like to give the readers a more centered approach, a more critical narrative, a narrative that's more willing to discuss issues openly and without any reluctance to address sensitive topics, and also to refrain from sweeping things under the rug, as a lot of publications on this campus have a tendency to do. I feel like we need to give our readers as many perspectives as possible so they can make accurate, informed judgments and opinions about what's going on about them, and I feel like this publication really does bridge the gap between what's going on and how people perceive it.
I think my story is a blunt one. I think that currently in Stellenbosch we have a divide, and we can call it one that's between people of color and white people, between men and women. We can say that it's between people of different ideologies. And I'm not here to tell you that my intention is to attempt to bridge that divide. I think it's something that's currently insurmountable. But what I do think is that what we're attempting to do with this is to provide solutions that are perhaps more analytical, a little more thoughtful, and provide perspective on the root of the problems that we are facing and the root of this division. My fear is that even within our typically called woke TM culture within Stellenbosch, there's a possibility that we're going to become stagnated in our opinions and our perspectives. Simply because we're buying into our sort of cool kid culture and perpetuating buzzwords and things like that. And it's preventing us from actually critically engaging in the sense of challenging ourselves to question the status quo, even when it's coming from people that we trust. And this is not to say that we should lose our respect for these people, but it does mean that we need to remind ourselves that we're a constantly evolving community, and that's what makes us different from the rest of conservative culture within Stellenbosch. Our ability to evolve in that manner. I really love the idea of aesthetic, but I don't want it to be that our protest against the erasure of our identities becomes something that's aesthetic. I want it to be something that is raw, that is powerful, meaningful, and innovative. And I think the only way that we can achieve this is by being genuine about what we do. And I think that's what I want to portray through iLizwi. I want iLizwi to be something that is alive, that has its own passion, its own character, and its own personality. That's what I believe is missing currently from our narrative in Stellenbosch, from the media. And I'm hoping that we can provide that.
I feel like the publications on campus have become stale. Don't get me wrong, we have amazing people doing amazing things, innovating in journalism, art, music, politics, everything. But it feels like we don't know about these people. We don't realize that they're there. And when we try and have a conversation, it's always just a superficial interview. Tell us about yourself. Okay, great, you're doing these things and this is where they are being done. But then what? What I want to do with iLizwi is show the implication of events, show the implication, the perspective behind happenings on campus and in Stellenbosch as a whole. We need to know what is happening in the discourse. And I think iLizwi can be a platform where we can host these discourse, where we can host discussions and actually fish out the true meaning and perspective behind events and happenings.
I felt like being a part of iLizwi because I thought that there was quite a lot missing in Stellenbosch, right? Too many people go unheard, too many people complain about not having, the resources to kind of use as an outlet for what they feel should be said, what they feel should be done. And not only did I want to be like a platform for that, but I wanted to be a part of that. I feel that in terms of media and news, Stellenbosch caters for one certain range of people, and that kind of seems a bit backwards to me. I think that this should be a campus open to everyone. This kind of being integrated already would make no sense for only one group of people to be happy or one group of people to be catered for. The reason I joined iLizwi, to be completely honest, is that I thought, being a silent activist for the equality of everyone isn't going to help anyone. So being active and being a part of the society and doing my bit is the best way I can see helping.